A Twitter update from AEW talent fuels speculation of Kevin Owens' WWE exit, Edge reveals why he was comfortable traveling to Saudi Arabia, and Mandy Rose reveals details of a backstage meeting with Vince McMahon. What's up, everyone? I'm hosted G, and there's a lot to talk about in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. Never miss brand new content by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. A Twitter update from AEW talent fuels speculation of Kevin Owens' WWE exit. There continues to be a lot of speculation surrounding Kevin Owens' WWE status, and amidst all the talk, the Young Bucks have added more fuel to all the rumors with their latest Twitter update. The Young Bucks' Twitter bio now reads M-Row, a direct reference to the Mount Rushmore of wrestling faction that featured Kevin Owens, Adam Cole, Matt, and Nick Jackson. The Young Bucks' latest Twitter activity is bound to get fans talking on social media, especially after what happened at this week's Raw. Kevin Owens hinted at his WWE contract status on the latest episode during a compelling promo in which he vowed to keep fighting in the company. KO promised to give fans something to remember irrespective of whether he stays in the WWE for 3 months or 3 years. In case you didn't know, the 3 months line alluded to the time remaining on Kevin Owens' WWE contract. It has been widely reported that Kevin Owens' WWE contract will expire at the end of January 2022, and most wrestling pundits expect the former Universal Champion to head to AEW. If Owens does decide to jump ship to Tony Khan's promotion, he will be eligible to appear on Dynamite as soon as February 1st. Kevin Owens has been dropping hints of a potential AEW move in recent weeks, as he even posted the coordinates of Mount Rushmore in a now-deleted tweet. Interestingly enough, Big E even mentioned Mount Rushmore in his response to Kevin Owens on Raw. WWE is undoubtedly playing up Owens' contract situation on TV, and the next few weeks will be crucial for the company's high-ranked officials in their bid to retain the Raw Superstar services. Bayley comments on popular superstar pushing for a feud with Becky Lynch. Following Becky Lynch's victory over Bianca Belair to retain the Raw Women's title, she was seen backstage confronted by Liv Morgan. Many fans have been clamoring for a big push for Morgan and were excited seeing her step up to the man. Bayley, who is currently sidelined with an injury, has been a keen observer of both the Raw and SmackDown female rosters during her time away and let her thoughts be known about Liv Morgan trying to get a feud with Lynch. The role model commented on Liv Morgan's latest tweet, called her relentless in her pursuit of getting the match with Lynch. Liv versus Becky Lynch could be an interesting feud for the Raw Women's title. Morgan revealed that when Becky vacated the title last year due to her pregnancy, she secretly told the former Riot Squad member that she would be the women's champion when she returned. While Morgan hasn't reached that level yet, she seems to be taking a step up and is ready to realize her true potential. Bayley had been one of the centerpieces of the SmackDown Women's division from 2019 to 2021 before she got injured. Despite her incredible year-long run as SmackDown Women's Champion, she found herself unable to get on the WrestleMania 37 card. It'll be interesting to see where WWE slots Bayley upon her return. She went undrafted during this year's WWE Draft. However, reports have stated that she will be part of the SmackDown roster once she returns from her injury. Kurt Angle picks Raw Superstar as a future world champion. Kurt Angle has crossed paths with numerous top wrestlers in the world, both from his time in WWE as well as TNA Impact. Many forget that Kurt Angle's tenure with Impact was longer than his WWE stint. One man Kurt Angle crossed paths with was Robert Roode. On a recent episode of The Kurt Angle Show, the WWE Hall of Famer spoke about working with Roode. Angle spoke about Roode's ongoing WWE run. Despite a relative lack of championship success, Kurt Angle believes that when given the chance, Robert Roode will become WWE champion someday, saying, quote, "I knew that he would have a lot of promise and have a lot of success anywhere he went. WWE, TNA, AEW, and would have mattered. Bobby Roode was going to be successful. I think that the company is so wrapped up in making sure that they're producing stars. Sometimes they overlook other guys and it's unfortunate. But eventually, Bobby will get his chance. I know he's gotten a lot of chances that didn't last very long, but I think that he will eventually get his chance and he will become WWE champion." End quote. Whether Kurt Angle is right or not, it's hard to see Robert Roode in the WWE title picture on Raw anytime soon. He's currently 45 years old and has been involved in a tag team with Dolph Ziggler for over 2 years now. Nearly a decade ago, Robert Roode's first reign as TNA World Heavyweight Champion began. To date, it's the longest reign in the title's history. Edge reveals why he was comfortable traveling to Saudi Arabia. Edge was part of an epic Hell in a Cell match at WWE's Crown Jewel against Seth Rollins. The rivalry between the two started this past summer at Money in the Bank and continued into last month's show in Saudi Arabia. While the match was loved by fans, it seemed that the WWE Hall of Famer wasn't excited about competing in Riyadh at all. In an interview with the Kids on the Escalator podcast, Edge said he was not too keen on traveling for Crown Jewel, only agreeing to do the match if Jessica Carr was the referee, saying, quote, "I wasn't too keen on going, I'll be perfectly honest, but we talked and they said we need it there. I said, okay, let's get Jess ref out there, not knowing how, if we'd be even able to, but I just love the idea of a woman being in control of two men in that country. If it flew over a lot of heads, whatever, but for me, I can come back to my girls and one day tell them I went over there, but I think we did something pretty cool." And again, she was right there for everything. Not in any way overwhelmed by the moment, just stood up to the challenge. It was really cool to see. End quote. Female WWE superstars were unable to wrestle in Saudi Arabia until October 30th of 2019. Natalya vs. Lacey Evans was the first ever women's approved match in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As seen in Crown Jewel, female superstars need to be fully covered to wrestle. Following his epic encounter with Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel, Edge congratulated referee Jessica Carr, the first woman to officiate a Hell in a Cell match in WWE history. Carr had been the referee for the entirety of the Edge/Rollins feud. Most recently, as a part of the 2021 draft, Edge became a part of Raw. Rollins, who was also drafted to the Red Brand, recently became the #1 contender for Big E's WWE Championship after beating Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, and Finn Balor in a ladder match on Raw. Mandy Rose reveals details of a backstage meeting with Vince McMahon. Mandy Rose achieved her most success yet in WWE upon her return to NXT. In the new NXT 2.0 era, Mandy Rose is the leader of the Toxic Attraction faction and won the NXT Women's title from Raquel Gonzalez at Halloween Havoc. It's been a long journey for Rose, who was one of the few superstars to move back to NXT. Although it was abrupt, it turned out to be a good move. As for her main roster run, the highlight was undoubtedly her 2020 romantic storyline with Otis on SmackDown, also involving Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville. Speaking on the Fightful podcast, Mandy Rose revealed how she earned Vince McMahon's respect by pitching the entire storyline with Otis from the start to end, saying, quote, "There were a few interactions I had with Vince for sure. There was one right at the beginning when I first got to Raw. Then the one with the Otis storyline. I actually went in there and pitched that whole thing. I think that's when, coming from the reaction I got from Vince, is when I think that's when he finally was like, wow, that's an amazing idea. I think he really gained a lot more respect for me because he loved the idea, but he also thought it was really cool that I took the initiative to come in because he likes that. That was a really cool moment I had with him." End quote. Mandy Rose has been enjoying a successful WWE run upon her return to NXT. In the same podcast episode, Mandy revealed that the decision to join NXT was abrupt and lacked explanation, which she described as an unusual occurrence. Rose said it worked out well for her since she lives in Florida and there aren't many commutes required. In addition, Rose feels her current NXT run has allowed her to help elevate other women in the division and reinvent herself. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. For exclusive content you never want to miss, you gotta subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new content. Follow us on all social media and download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.